Okay, so today we'll be doing a lesson about word problems. We're gonna start the lesson with a video.
Oh, what are you wearing, Hank?
My new swim trunks, Ralph. Makes me feel like I'm on the sandy beaches of Hawaii instead of working. Got you a pair too, in green.
Thanks?
Hi, guys. My dad says you're almost done.
Almost. We had 8 steel beams before that last delivery, right, Hank?
You know it, boss.
And in that last delivery of beams we got... Oh, I didn't get the number of beams that were just dropped in the bin. And I need that for my report. I only know that we have 19 in total.
That sounds like a word problem.
Sure, a word problem, of course. And Ralph here, he knows all about word problems. Don't you, Ralph?
Me? Word problems?
Maybe I can help?
Oh, that would be amazing.
You're a real lifesaver, Jesse.
So we know that you started with 8 beams. And that crane just dropped some more in the bin, making it 19 beams altogether. When you end up with more than you started with, that's addition. I'm going to write a number sentence. Since we know we're supposed to add, let's start with this. Now we need to figure out the missing numbers. You started with 8 beams. So let's put the number 8 in the first space. The next thing we do is ask ourselves, what else do we know? Well, we also know there's a total of 19 beams in the bin. Since it's the total, that number goes after the equal sign. Because we don't know how many the crane added, we'll put a question mark there. That stands for the missing number. See, we've changed our word problem to a number sentence. Now let's solve it. One strategy for solving number sentences is to use a number family. 19 goes at the top because it's the biggest number. 8 goes in the bottom left corner. And a question mark goes in the bottom right corner.
Do we have to build that triangle? If so, we're going to need more beams.
Of course we don't. Do we?
Nope. The triangle just helps us see the number family. Now, I'm gonna write out the 4 facts that go with this number family. Okay. 8 plus question mark equals 19. Question mark plus 8 equals 19. 19 minus question mark equals 8. 19 minus 8 equals question mark. Hey, look at the last number sentence. What does it tell us?
You have nice writing?
Thank you. But look, 19 minus 8. We can solve that number sentence. 19 minus 8 equals 11. The missing number in our number family is 11. And that means the crane delivered 11 beams.
You're sure about that?
Let's check. You started with 8 beams this morning, and that crane just dropped some more in the bin, for a total of 19 beams. To check your answer, you put the missing number in the first number sentence. Does 8 plus 11 equal 19? Yes, we have the right answer.
All right.
Thanks, Jesse. Let's get this job done, Hank.
Ready, guys? Hey, Dad, remember to take off your hard hat.
Nah, we're good. We don't want to get our hair wet.
Okay, did you like the video?
Loved it.
Okay, so before we start on working out word problems, we're going to go over some vocabulary that you need to know in order to work out word problems. So words that you might see are even. Even means that it can be divided evenly. So numbers such as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so on. And then the word odd, that means it cannot be divided evenly. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, numbers such as those. You may also see the word altogether. That is an adding word. So if you ever see the word altogether in a word problem, that means that you might have to add, or you will have to add. Total. Total means everything added all up. So all the numbers added all up or subtracted, it's whatever it all comes out to be. Each means it's dividing vocabulary. So if you ever see the word each in a word problem, that means that it requires division. Minus, that means to take away, and that means that that is subtracting vocabulary. Okay. Okay, here's your word problem worksheet. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how you would work a word problem. So you don't have this one on your paper. Max and Jim own 36 pencils altogether. Actually, I'll have you read it. You go ahead and read it.
Max and Jim own 36 pencils altogether. Max has twice as many pencils as Jim. How many pencils do they each have?
Okay, so when you're looking at a word problem, you want to go ahead and circle vocabulary that's important. So, altogether is an important word because that lets you know that it wants you to add. So I'm just going to write add right there. Another important word is each. Each means that wants you to divide. So I'm just going to go ahead and write divide next to it. When you circle the words, it lets you know how you want to go ahead and work the problem. So let's go ahead and read it one more time.
Max and Jim own 36 pencils altogether. Max has twice as many pencils as Jim. How many pencils do they each have?
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write down the important information. So we know Max and Jim together have 36 pencils. And then Max has twice as many pencils as Jim. So we're going to write that down. Okay, so in order for Max to have twice as many pencils as Jim, that means it would have to be divided by 3. So 36 divided by 3 equals, you know what that is? 12. Okay, so 12 times 3 equals 36. So, therefore, that would mean Max would have to have twice as many as Jim. So, 12 times 2 equals 24. And then we would go ahead and subtract 36 from 24, and that would leave 12 pencils for Jim. So is 24 double of 12?
Yes.
Okay, so therefore Max has 24 pencils and Jim has 12. Okay. So go ahead and look at your worksheet and read the first problem. We'll go ahead and work it together.
Tom had 114 baseball cards. He kept 10 and shared the rest evenly among his friends. How many baseball cards did each friend get?
Okay, So, an important vocabulary word that we should circle.
How many friends do you have?
Tom had 114 baseball cards. He kept 10 and shared the rest evenly among his 8 friends. Doesn't say that one?
It doesn't say. Oh, that's
Among his 8 friends. How many cards did each friend get? So an important word that we need to circle is evenly, meaning it's divided evenly in each. Okay. So we know that total there is 114 cards. We know that Tom kept 10 of those, and he divided them evenly among his 8 friends. So our first step would be subtracting the 10 cards that Tom kept minus the 114 cards total. So can you go ahead and do that? 114 minus 10.
134. Oh, I put 144.
That's good.
104.
All right, and then we would have to go ahead and divide 104 by 8.
And this is for what grade?
Right, we'll have to go ahead and divide 104 by 8 to see how many cards each friend got. So can you go ahead and work that?
I'll go ahead. What grade is this for? Oh, so I got 13. Each friend got 13 cards.
Okay, so therefore each friend got 13 cards. So for number 2, you'll go ahead and work that one, and I will observe and see if you are doing it correctly.
The teacher bought 12 packets of crayons. 7 of the packets had 9 crayons. And the other 5 packets had 10 crayons. How many crayons did each teacher buy in all? So, hold on. How many crayons did the teacher buy in all? Okay. So you got a circle. You want me to circle the words?
Yeah, so go ahead and circle the important words.
In all. The teacher bought 12 packets of crayons. Alright, so basically, so 7.
What do you think this problem is asking you to do?
7 times 9, and then 5 times 10. It's asking me to add up all the crayons, individual crayons that was bought.
Correct.
So 69, 50, 49. There's 9. So 119 crayons.
That's how many crayons there is total?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, correct. 119. Alright, and then we'll move on to number 3. You'll circle the important words and tell me what do you think the question is asking you to do after you read.
Mr. Smith baked 3 trays of 36 cookies. After they, what does it say? After they cooled. Alright. After they cooled, he divided the cookies evenly into 4 bags. How many cookies did Miss Baker base in this bag? So 3 trays of 36 cookies.
Circle the important words.
Alright.
Each
Bag. And then divided. Alright. 36 times 3. 15. So it's 108 cookies. 108 cookies divided by 4 cookies a bag. So 4 goes into 10, 2 times is 8, 28. And then 4 goes into 28. How many times? 6 times? Or no, 7 times. So 27 bags.
Very good. And that is the whole worksheet. So if you could go ahead and write down what you learned today in your learning log. Good job. Okay, so to end our lesson, we'll just have an exit ticket. If you just go ahead and write your answer down, and then for the sake of today's lesson, just share it with the class what you think your answer is. So for today's exit ticket, the question is, what would happen if the quantity of one of the variables changed in a word problem? Go ahead and write that down and record your answer.
What you said?
What would happen if the quantity of one of the variables changed in a word problem? So if you have a word problem and say it says Tom had 10 cookies, and we change it to Tom had 4 cookies, how would that affect the word problem? Go ahead and write that down. All right, are y'all done? Can you share with the class what your answer is?
You will get a different outcome.
Exactly, because each quantity is different, so that's very good. Okay, so today we learned how to analyze word problems and solve them in order to get the correct answer. How do you think these skills can be beneficial in real life?
Well, I think that, like, you know, if you get an order of beans and you already know how many beans you had, and then you didn't record how many beans you was getting, and then you realize how many beans you have now, you can use these type of problems in order to figure out how many beans was delivered that you didn't account for because you wasn't doing your job.
Okay, so you can apply it in the real world, like at work.
Right.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on to reading now.